Hi guys, it's Blackie, and if it's Tuesday, it's Down and Dirty Woodscraft. But this time, I would like to dedicate today's Down and Dirty Woodscraft shelter build to Mark Baker, a mentor of mine. Mark was a living history interpreter who did many years. He wrote in Muzzleloader magazine, and in my early journey as a long hunter, I followed everything that Mark wrote, and this shelter is a direct result of him. Yes, I had heard of it. Yes, I had seen it talked about by family members who had actually used it in combat. But it was Mark and his video in the Long Hunter series that very much influenced me and inspired me to try this shelter. And I have used this type of shelter in the fall when the leaves are everywhere, the air is dry, the ground is dry, it's just going to be cold, and the temperatures are going to be above 30. I have used this type of shelter before. And so, Mr. Mark Baker, thank you, sir, for everything that you did. You greatly influenced me. Okay, today, guys, we're going to talk about a shelter. Now, let us discuss this for just a moment. I can build the classic brush hut. I've got my kukri on me right now, and with relatively little effort I can take my kukri and I can chop down stuff, start piling it up, and make a very quick lodge out of it with little or no effort. But what if I don't want to do that? Okay, because let's look at what that entails. It's going to take me probably an hour to walk around, even in my thick stuff, and harvest the ones that I want. Come back, limb them, trim them, come back, pick the place I want to put it up, start stacking, layering, and making all that stuff. Yeah, it's easy. There's so much resource right here. But at the same time, do I need it? Okay. When I go and create that lodge, now I've got to heat it. So I got to gather firewood too. And I've got to have me a firewood pile right in front of it and have that heat transmit into it and have enough firewood to get me through the night, and I've got to build a bed. And you see my point. I'm building all of this, but suppose I don't want to be here all night. Sun's caught me. I'm going to have to shut down right now, but the moon will be up at, say, 2 or 3 in the morning, and I'll be able to still travel then by following the dirt roads. But between sundown at 6 p.m. and 2 or 3 in the morning, 8 hours, I'm not going to have any light to where I can see to travel, or I don't want to travel, or whatever. Well, I just need a place to sleep, and that's what this is going to be. This is what I call a squirrel hut, or a squirrel bed, or a squirrel nest. Okay? I've heard of it being used in combat, and that's actually where I learned of it from, was from an old Marine that was an uncle of mine who talked about making such nests out in combat areas for a quick nap in areas where they controlled. So I'm going to show you what they did. So what I'm going to be using for this is an old poncho, but this could be a blanket, a tarp, some large piece of fabric. It doesn't matter, okay? So let's get this set up. Now the first thing we're going to do is going to pick an area with plenty of resources, lots of leaves. And we're going to find a little depression. This shelter should be utilized when it's going to be cold, but it's not going to be raining, and that all the debris is dry, okay? So, if it was not those situations, I wouldn't even consider this, okay? So I'm going to pick me a place, and I'm going to kick me up a big pile of leaves. Let's do that. I'm thinking right here. Okay, now that I've generated this bed, I'm going to get on it, take my hands and push straight down. As I find sticks, pine cones, whatever, get it out now. Work my way. How big a bed? The bed needs to be about 2 foot wider than you and about 2 foot longer than you, whatever your measurement is. So if you're 6 foot tall, make it 8 feet long. If you weigh 200 pounds, make it about, you got a 48-inch waist, make it a 6 foot across bed. Easy way to look at it. I want enough room to move around. You'll see why in a minute. How thick do I want this? I want this bed 1 hand thickness compressed underneath me. Keep adding leaves and doing this. Mixing it together. Add and kick over more leaves. Get the sticks out, the pine cones out, and keep adding. Just like that. Now when I've got my bed the way I want it, now I go to the second layer. Okay, now I'm going to take my covering. In this case it's an old poncho. And I'm going to take it in the top of my excuse me, Blackbird I carry a set of tent stakes and guy lines. All I need is the tent stakes. Zip that back up, make sure everything lays in there like it's supposed to. Just like that. Now, taking the poncho, this is the U.S. Army, doesn't have to be. And this has got a pretty good sized tear in it. I'll open it up lengthways, just like that. Now you notice it's got lengthways, and then it has the grommets running along the top and bottom edge. So at the bottom down here, at the center, I'm going to put my first grommet, first stake. Like that. Taking the kukri, tap it in the ground. Just like that. Now, on this side over here, I don't want to pull it blood tight. I actually want to bring it, double it back under, and about a foot from the first stake is where I put it, on the left. Like that. Now on the right side, same thing, about a foot from the center stake. Now, I've got one stake left. I come up here to the top corner. I want to pull it. If my center stake was going to be there, I want it 2 feet from the center. So that's my center line. So right there, I want about a foot and a half this way. Stick my stake through there. Twist it a couple times so it bites. Pull the side kind of snug. Tap it in place. Like that. Now I'm going to grab me a handy stick. I'm going to go to the far side. Again, so about, say, 3 feet total length from that first one right here. I'm going to do that again. Just like that. Twist it around and tap it in the ground. Just like that. Okay, now as you can see, I can lift this up. That's what I want. Now, I bury the whole thing in leaves. Go back, gathering and sticking leaves up there. Bury the whole thing. For this top layer, it doesn't matter if there's some sticks or whatever in it. In fact, it actually helps. So I want to throw some sticks and stuff through it to help hold it together, kind of bind it. Nothing heavy, of course, but like that. Especially along the edges. I want the brush piles on the outside edge to kind of help hold it, keep them sliding so easy. Now, I've got my shelter arranged. Okay, first thing I do before I go in is anything on the outside that's going to be a hindrance needs to come off, like my kukri. I'm going to take the kukri off. I'm going to button up. And I'm going to tuck in shirts like this. Make sure I'm as sleek on the outside as I can get. Because I'm going to get under that. What that tarp is doing is acting as a layer that I can work under now. Where it's very difficult to just wiggle into a pile of leaves, although you can. But usually as you bulldog in, you push stuff off the top. Well, that poncho is going to act like a barrier to that. So anything that could catch, keys or whatever, they're going down. Now my haversack right here is going to be my pillow. So hang it down where you can see the head better. Just like that. So, right here is the edge of my poncho. I'm going to roll that uphill just a little. Just like that. And there's that bed of compressed stuff right here. Now, putting my haversack close by, taking my kukri and putting it close by, and of course my hat, putting it close by, just like that. Now, pants legs. You've got military type with these pull and tie ones, that's what you want. If you don't have the pull and tie type, then you need to tuck them inside your socks. Just fold them over and tuck your socks over the outside of your pants leg. Give yourself a little bit of slack. Your knees are going to pull tight. So pull it where it's a little bit loose. Same thing, your boot laces. Tuck them down inside of the boot so they don't hang up. Now you can take your boots off if you want to and use them as a pillow. I've done that. As you can tell, I'm on the back of the gun range again. Hunting season down here. Everybody's getting ready. So, when I'm ready to go to bed, I come in butt first, I lift up, and I work under. Nice and easy. I get to the end, flip over my haversack, bring my gear right here, and I can completely cover up with this brush pile, just like this. Now if I want to, I can go completely under, like this. And thus, I have a shelter. I have plenty of insulation. I'm insulated from the ground, and I have insulation on top. How cold is it going to be tonight? In the 50s. So this is more than sufficient. But if I mounted it way on up and piled over, I'm going down in the 30s then, so long as I'm insulated. And to be honest, just laying here just a minute, this thing's too hot. I'm already hot from all the exertion. So I'm heating this thing up right now. So this would be a quick shelter. Hope this gave you some ideas, guys. Please leave any questions or comments below. And until next time, I'm Blackie wishing you safe journeys. Have a great day, guys.